Hey boys and girls, we are on lesson 8-7. Please make sure you have your workbook, a pencil, multiplication chart, and scratch paper out and ready to go for the start of our math lesson. Here is our learning goal. You can read it with me. I can multiply mixed numbers. So we are taking it another step up today. We've done whole numbers by fractions, fractions by whole numbers, fractions by fractions, and now we're to mixed numbers by mixed numbers. So let's go ahead and open up our book to page 357. Have that out and open. And I'm going to read through our solve and share. We've got kind of a couple steps to do today, so let's see how we do. Look at the ingredients needed to make Josie's special pancakes. We have 2 1/4 cups of pancake mix, and you should be able to see this on your page. That's why it's important to have your book out and open. We have 1 egg. We have 1 2/3 cups of milk, and then 3/4 teaspoon of vanilla. You'll see why I rewrote this in a minute. How much pancake mix and milk will you need if you want to double the recipe? To triple the recipe? Solve this problem any way you choose. So if you're going to double the recipe, what are you going to multiply it by? Think about it. 2. So we would be multiplying by 2 there. If we're going to triple the recipe, we're going to go back to these original numbers and we'll have to multiply it by 3. So go ahead and try and see for the pancake mix how to double it and then how to triple it, and then you'll do the same here. So go ahead and try that and put your answers in, okay? And then we're gonna do the milk. Oop. It would help if I could write my letters correctly. There we go. And we need to double it and triple it. So go ahead and give that a try. Okay, let's go ahead and go over both of them so you can kind of check in and see how you did. So our pancake mix is 2 1/4. So I need to take 2 1/4 times 2. Now, one of the easiest ways to do this is to switch our mixed number back into an improper fraction, which I don't think we've done yet this year. Maybe. So what we have to do for our 2 1/4, we have to multiply our 4, and you kind of work your way around like this. Multiply your 4 times your 2, and then add 1 more. Add your numerator to it. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So this written as a mixed number is 9 over that same denominator of 4. 4 would go into 9, so I can go back and forth. You guys have been taking your 9/4s, doing 9 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times. You'd have 8, you'd subtract and have 1/4 left over. So you guys have been doing improper to mixed numbers really well. So now we're doing the opposite. We're going mixed number to improper. And so again, that's when you take your 4 times your whole number, denominator times whole number, plus your numerator is your new numerator. So now if I do 9/4 times 2 over 1, 9 times 2 is 18, 4 times 1 is 4. So now I need to do now I gotta go back. So you just kind of flip-flop back and forth. So then we would take our 18 divided by 4. 4 doesn't go into 1, 4 goes into 18 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16, we've got 2 left over. So we put the 2, the remainder over the 4. So we get 4 2/4, which we know would reduce to 4 1/2 because 2 is half of 4. They both simplify down by 2. So they would need 4 1/2 cups of pancake milk if we were to double it. Now, if we were to triple it, we're just going to take this 9 over 4 times 3 over 1. 9 times 3 is 27. 4 times 1 is 4. And then I got to simplify again. So I'm just going to do 27 divided by 4. 4 doesn't go into 2. 4 goes into 27 6 times. Yep. And we get 24. When I subtract, we have 3 left over, so we get 6 3/4. So if we were to triple it, we would need 6 3/4 cup of pancake mix. That is a lot of pancake mix. You'd have a lot of people over if you were making that many pancakes. Okay, so for our milk, we have to do the same thing. So we're taking 1 2/3 times 2 and 1 2/3 times 3. I want you to go ahead and try to switch this 1 2/3 to an improper fraction. So remember, we're going to take our denominator times, I cannot write today, times our whole number plus your numerator for your new numerator. Go ahead and give that a try and enter that in the box. You keep your denominator the same. Okay, so you should have done 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 more is 5 over 3. So now we're taking 5 over 3 times 2 over 1. 5 times 2, I'm running out of room here. 5 times 2 is 10 over 3. Sorry, I gotta backtrack a little. 3 would go into 10, or if I was doing 10 divided by 3, 3 goes into 10 3 times. We subtract that 9, 3 times 3 is 9, and we have 1/3 left over. So 3 1/3 cups of milk if we double it. Now if we triple it, we have to take that same 5/3 and now we multiply it by 3 over 1. Well, let's take a look at our cross reducing. 5 and 1, since we have a 1 here, it's simplified down as far as it can go. But with our 3 and our 3, what number goes into 3? It's kind of a tricky question because 2 doesn't go into 3, but does 3 fit inside 3? Yes, it does. So we can divide this by 3 and this by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And now all of a sudden our multiplication is pretty easy. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. So our final answer here is 5. When we multiply it by 3, we need 5 cups of milk to triple it. Okay, that was a really long solve and share. We will move as quickly as we can over to our guided practice. So I favor switching them to improper fractions. The more you do it, the speedier you definitely get at it. But they are also going to show us a way that we can use the box method to do it. Our essential question again is how can you find the product of a mixed number? So product again is answer to a multiplication problem, and now we're working with mixed numbers, leveling up our work a little. Here's our problem. A clothing factory has machines that make jackets. The machines operate for 7.5 hours a day. How many jackets can machine A make in one day? So we have machine A right here, jackets per hour. And they operate for 7.5 hours each day. So this is for 1 hour, 2 3/4 jacket, and they go for 7 hours. So now you need to take 7.5 times 2 3/4 is about 8 times 3. So they're using a little bit of estimation here. So the answer should be around 24. And so because we're multiplying two mixed numbers, our answer is gonna get bigger because both of our factors, the two numbers you multiply to get your product, are greater than 1. So here's the way that I don't so much do all the time, but it is a way we can understand, and if it works better for you, great. But I will say I am a little bit more partial to renaming our mixed numbers. So one way you could do it is make an area model for the partial product. So we can have 7 right here and a half right here, and it's like we have our box method. And then they've split it between the 7.5, and then we have a 2 here and 3/4 there, so then they split it that way. So then they do their 2 times 7 in this box to get 14. They do their 3/4 times 7 to get 21 over 4, which when they do 21 divided by 4, it gets down to 5 1/4. And then they have to do their 2 over here times a half. 2 times a half is 1 whole. Really, you'd have 2 over 2, which is 1 whole when you simplify it. And then you have to do 3/4 times 1/2, which gives you 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 2 is 8. And then you have to add all of your answers together. So if you've really been enjoying not finding common denominators, this might not be the way for you. But if you are like, no, common denominators, easy peasy, then you could do it. So we have 14 plus 1 plus 5 1/4 plus 3/8. Well, a 4th and an 8 don't have a common denominator. So 4 will go into 8, so they had to take this times 2, this times 2 to get 2 8s. And now they can add their fractions together. So they had to do 14 plus 1 is 15. plus 5 more would be 20. And that's where they got their 20. And then they have 2 8s plus 3 8s, so 2 plus 3 is 5/8. Now, we can also do it the way that I was showing in our solve and share, which is to rename your mixed number as an improper fraction and then multiply. So we take, remember we work our way clockwise. We do 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 more is 15, and that's what your numerator is here. Over, you just have the same denominator, okay? And then we're gonna do the same thing here. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 more is 11 over 4. Okay, so this is when your numbers start to get a little bit bigger, so it's always good to see if you can cross reduce. I don't think you can in this situation, so bummer. But 2 and 11, only 1 and 2 go into 2, and if you simplify by 1, the numbers stay the same. So you can't reduce those. 15 and 4, kind of same story, right? 2 and 4 will go into 4, but 2 doesn't go into 15 and 4 doesn't go into 15. So we got to leave them as is. This is when, off to the side, you will have to buckle up and do the multiplication. Don't try to do it in your head. You will make a mistake. If not the first time, maybe the second time. Eventually, a mistake will be made on something, especially on a test, that you would get correct if you would just write it down. Okay, so we do 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 1 is 1, add your 0 here, bing, 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 cross out. 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 1 is 1, then we add 5 plus 0 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, and then we get 165, and you'll see that's what they got there, over 2 times 4 is 8. Now, we're on to that division step. So we take our 165 divided by 8. Well, 8 won't go into 1, but 8 does go into 16. Woohoo! It goes into 16 2 times. 8 times 2 is 16. When we subtract, it zeroes out. So now we bring down our 5. 8 goes into 5 0 times. 8 times 0 is 0. So when we subtract, we have a remainder of 5. But that's not how I write my remainders now that we are in fraction land, okay? That was, beginning of the year, 4th grade, that's how we wrote our remainders. But now we know better, so we do a little better. So instead of that little R there, we're gonna take our 8, and put it on the bottom. So our final answer is still that 20 and 5/8 that we got over here. Either one of these methods will work. Our 24 is pretty close to 20, so our answer is reasonable. But yeah, just 2 different ways to do it. I also like the mixed number way because it gives you guys some practice with a little more division and multiplication that we haven't done in a little while. Okay, so you've got 2 problems right here, and this video is about 13 minutes long, so it's probably fine. We'll do one together, and I'll leave you off to do one on your own. For 2 and 3, estimate the products and then complete the multiplication. So for 2 and 3/4, that's about 3 times 8. So that's going to be about 24 for my estimation there. And then now I have 8 over 1. So now what I need to do is multiply my 2 times 4, add my numerator 3 to get my new numerator right here. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 more would be 11. So now I can do some multiplication. I have 11 over 4 times 8 over 1. You can multiply straight across and divide. 11 times 8 would be, maybe they just want us to leave it like that, 88 over 4. However, when we divide that, we'll have to do 88 divided by 4, which 4 goes into 8 2 times, which really that's not that bad. And you get 22 as your final answer. Or 88, over 4, which is equal to that. You could have cross-reduced here though, because 4 will go into 4 and 4 will go into 8. So if we divide by 4 here, divide by 4 here, 8 divided by 4 is 2, 4 divided by 4 is 1, 11 times 2 is 22. And then it's over 1, but 22 over 1 is the same thing. Okay, you've got the same steps here. You're gonna remember multiply your denominator times your whole number and then add your numerator. Your denominator stays the same to get that answer. So you gotta do 2 times 4 plus 1. Remember, do your multiplication first. So then you'll do that same thing for the second one, and then multiply across, simplify down, and see what your final answer is. Okay, go ahead and enter it once you're done. And I will see you guys in group.